And so Paul talks about the power of living under grace versus under law in Romans 6, 7, 8. He talks about how in Romans 6 he says you were dead to sin. Why keep on living in it? He said in baptism you were buried with Christ, you died with him. And he says now you no longer live under law, you live under grace. And in Romans 7 he has this great little line when he says this. He says, my brothers and sisters, you've also died to the law through the body of Christ, so that you may belong to another, to him who has been raised from the dead, in order that we may bear fruit for God. For while we were living in the flesh, our sinful passions aroused by the law were at work in our members to bear fruit for death. In other words, everything you did under the law wrecks your life. But now, verse 6 says, we are discharged from the law, having died to that which held us captive, so that we serve not under the old written code, but in the new life of the Spirit. So I got a little story to tell you that was inspired by Tracy from last night's talent show. There's this guy who goes in and robs a bank. Gets off his horse, goes to the door of the bank, and walks in and up to the teller. And he says, stick him up. Nobody move! And all of a sudden, everybody realizes it's a bank robbery, and they're full of fear. And they fall on the floor. And the robber takes all their money. He rolls it up and puts it in a bag. And he runs out the door. And he jumps on his horse. And he rides off. He thinks he's safe, but all of a sudden the people who've been in the bank yell, we've been robbed! And a posse is formed. And a lot of big men gather on their horses. And they say, which way did he go? They point that way. And now they chase after him. And there's a big race going on. And the bank robber thinks he's safe, but all of a sudden he looks back and he sees the posse coming. And he has to go even faster. And the posse catches up. And he goes even faster. He goes up a mountain. Goes down the other side of the mountain. He goes across the river. He stops to get a drink. He was very thirsty. And he keeps on riding. And the posse comes down the mountain. And the posse goes across the river. And they don't stop to get a drink. And they keep chasing him. And he looks back and he thinks he's safe. And then all of a sudden his horse hits a rock. And he falls off the horse. And his head hits a stone on the ground. And he dies. And now he's dead. And the law can't get him anymore. He's dead to the law. What held him captive.
We're going to take that one on the road.
That was great. So, now you know, you're dead to the law.